Today you are going to learn how to draw this cute little snow angel with me in just 30 minutes. I have used Procreate, but you can follow along using any art program you like if you know the basics. Take a canvas size of 3000 by 4000 pixels with RGB color profile and 300 dpi. To start the sketching, you choose a bluish grey color from the color wheel. Then choose a pencil texture brush. I have chosen the 6B pencil from the Procreate default brushes. Then go to the canvas and turn on the drawing assist. Under Edit Drawing Guide, we will be choosing the Symmetry option. We'll use the Symmetry tool to finish our sketching. I have started sketching out the different portions of the angel. You can just follow along. Later, we will be introducing some asymmetry in the drawing to make it more interesting. As you can see here, I am sketching out the body, and if you just get like one side right, the other one will of course be even due to the symmetry tool. That's the beauty of it. So feel free to get creative and add details. Take your time with the eyes, as you know what they say, eyes are the windows to your soul. So to make your drawing beautiful, I always like to focus on the eyes and make sure they are perfect. Till here, I was drawing with very light pressure. Now I'm going to increase my pressure a little bit to make the drawing a little bit darker and more detailed. Sorry, my camera kept on autofocusing on my hand instead of my canvas, but I'm hoping you get the point and you are able to follow along with me. Feel free to undo any mistake as you do it. As you can see, I probably did so many mistakes and kept on undoing and redoing it till I am satisfied with my drawing. Take your time for the drawing because this will form the base of our painting. So if the drawing is really good, the painting overall will look good. For a 30 minutes painting like this, I like to take at least 5 to 7 minutes trying to get my drawing perfect. To speed the video up, you can always go to the YouTube settings and increase the playback speed if you are not following along with me. Alright, we are done with the sketching. Now we will be adding some asymmetry to our sketch to make it a little more imperfect, but in the end making it look more interesting. First, I'm using the select tool to select the girl's face, and I'm going to tilt it to one side. It looks like she's tilting her head to one side. And I'm repositioning the face to make sure it aligns with the neck. Now I'm erasing off the fringes and giving her some side bangs. And I'll also match the part to match the side bangs. Now the skirt looks a little bit too perfect to me, so on one side I'm making it bent down and the other side is bent up, and I'm also adding some swirl and some folds to the skirt. Now I'm adding some more details in the hair to make sure that both the side doesn't look the same. Alright, now let's do the line art. Now I'm going to create one layer on top of our current sketch layer, and I'm going to turn down the opacity of our sketch layer. Essentially, we are going to trace our lines but make them look more perfect. I'm selecting the Studio Pen inking brush for this. Try to move your entire hand instead of from the wrist to get the lines smoother. This is the toughest part of the painting for me, so I like to go slow and steady for this. I do not enjoy the inking process as much because my painting style is more painterly, where I don't do line art at all. But when I'm doing illustrations like this with bold lines, to make the lines smooth, I try to pick a pen, a brush which has a lot of stabilization. Here I have chosen the Studio Pen, and then I try to do and undo as many times as possible to get the line smooth and connected. So take your time doing this. If you enjoy the process, and as you do it more and more, you will start getting better at it. So comment down below which is your least favorite part of the painting process. Again, feel free to skip or speed up the video to enjoy the painting process when you are not following along. I like to keep the painting process videos real time mostly because this gives an idea to the beginners how long actually each of the strokes take and how many times I'm actually making mistakes and undoing and redoing my every stroke. I am as flawed as any of you, and I struggle when I draw as well. So don't give up, just follow along, do your best, and I'm sure it will turn out great. Is there anything that you like to do while you are doing a painting. For me, when I'm doing a painting and I'm engrossed in it, I like to put either a speed paint or a podcast or something in the background which I listen to while I'm working on my painting. It kind of relaxes me, and for some reason my brain is able to process both. So that's my favorite part of getting lost in a painting. Again, when you are inking the eyes, make sure you are taking your time and getting them as perfect as you can, because they definitely make a difference in the final painting. Make sure that the anatomy is right, the both sides are even, and the lines look similar. And now it's time for my favorite part, which is the colors. I am creating a layer just below the line art layer. I also like to rename my layers to make sure they represent what I have painted in that layer. So I renamed my line art layer as line art, and then the new layer that I created, I renamed it as hair. I'm going to put the base color of the angel's hair in that layer. After that, I'm going to select a reddish brown color for the angel's hair. Then I'm going to tap on the line art layer and select reference. This will allow us to drag and drop colors on the other layer, and it will only fill within the lines. This makes our life a lot easier. So I might have missed a point where the lines are disconnected. So I'm going to zoom in, close the line which is disconnected, and then try again to fill in. Then I proceeded to create new layers for each of the portions of the angel's body, like the hair, the face, the clothing, the angel wings, the red part which is the heart, and the frills of the dresses. And I had filled in colors in the same way as I just showed for the hair. For the face, as you can see here, first I filled in the color, and then I'm going back with the white color to get back the whites of the eyes. Now that our base color is done, time to move to my favorite part, that is the rendering or the shading. To select the highlight color, what I like to do is I select the base color first and then move the color wheel to the left, which means we are moving towards a little more warmer. And then I choose a bit of a desaturated lighter color and then I try to do the shading with that. As you can see here, I have chosen the marker brush to get the sharp edges of the hair. It just looks better while painting hair. You can use any brush you like. Now to select the shadow colors, I select the base color first and then move the color wheel to the right and then also move the color selector to a little more to desaturated, and I'll pick a darker color and I again choose the marker brush and draw the highlights. I draw the shadows. Then to make everything look seamless, I select the wet acrylic brush and in this particular layer I turn the alpha lock on and then smudge everything together to make it look more blended. Again, I choose a lighter color, even lighter than the medium color that I had chosen earlier, and then I add a little bit of highlights in the places where the light would hit in the hair. This will make the hair look a lot more three-dimensional, and when we smudge everything out in the end, we blend everything out, it will look really nice. To finish off the hair, I turn off the alpha lock and then I select the dark hair color back and then add some extra stray hairs outside my inking lines, which will make the hair look more interesting and it will give it a little more natural look as well. This is definitely your personal choice. I like to do this because I do not like too cartoony details. Though this is a very cartoony style, I still like to add a little bit of my own painterly style to this. And then I turn the alpha lock back and then I clean up the lines, and with that the hair is finished. So remember these basic steps while coloring the entire process. So each and every layer that you had created in each of the portions, you'll be selecting a darker and a lighter shade. Then you will use the darker shade to create the shadows and the lighter shade to create the highlights. And then at the end you will blend everything out to make it look more seamless. For the skin, I add a little bit of extra step. I select a pinkish color and then I select the soft airbrush and then paint on some soft brush onto the angel's cheeks. Since the shadows of the skin is softer than that of the hair, I have selected a hard airbrush to paint in the shadows of the skin. You can see here you can adjust the shape of the girl's face by repainting the parts of it with the base color. The nose was looking a bit too tall for my taste and I wanted to give her a cute little button nose, so I went back with the base color and decreased the highlight of the nose, which made her nose a bit smaller and cuter. Here I have used the acrylic brush to paint in the shadows for her dress. This is a great brush to do a little bit of painterly style, and I like to do that for the dress as it is a flowy fabric. add the finishing touches to the painting, and I like to do that by adding some highlights. For this, I create a layer on top of all the layers and set it to soft light. And then I select a light color and have used the dry ink brush and added some harsh edges to the places where the light would hit. And I have done that all over the painting. Sometimes I just like to add a white line here and there to make sure it just pops out. It may not make much of a sense physically or according to the laws of physics, but I like to do that and take my artistic freedom, and I think it just looks cute. Don't forget to add some stray hairs with this technique, because this looks like the light is hitting the hair and some of the hair strands are illuminated. And I like to add the pop of highlights to the eyes by adding one large dot and two smaller dots.